the terrifying and shockingly heinous events unfolding in the city of Lod and other major cities. Again, I'm joined by Colonel Reserves Miri Eisen and Brigadier General Reserves Ram Shmueli. Miri, I'll bring you back. We've never seen incidents like this in Lod, or at least not for many, many years. What did Israel maybe do wrong? What did Israel do right? What does it take to restore calm?
So to restore calm, you need to have people uphold the law. We know this worldwide in democracies. When people are breaking the law, you need to bring in forces to uphold the law. But for a moment, I want everybody to breathe deep, because what came out and is coming out and continues to come out in the Arab population of Israel, for me as an Israeli, for somebody who's been involved in these issues for so many years, it's the first time I'm seeing in many years a young voice, what I am going to call young angry men, who are coming out in droves against Israeli sovereignty, against the rule of law. And when you ask about that, why did it happen? The lack of rule of law, strict law inside Arab populations in Israel has been an ongoing challenge for years now. That is not something new. One of the reasons we saw stronger participation of the Arab citizens in our last with 3 out of the 4 elections as it grew was the idea that Israel would become more involved. They have an enormous amount of murders there, much higher than in other portions of the population. And these young, angry men coming out in the month of Ramadan with a cry of Al-Aqsa, or Al-Quds, or Jerusalem, are bringing out a sentiment which I see both in the Gaza Strip, throughout the Middle Eastern world, people who feel that they are not part of the country they're in, and I say this sadly, they don't feel part of Israel, they feel they don't have a good enough future, even though we need to remember this isn't necessarily presenting all of the 20% of Israeli citizens who live in Israel. We're looking at young, angry men rioting in very specific places, and I don't want to be inclusive about all of them. There's definitely a challenge both of education and of unemployment, but overwhelmingly of self-identity.
So Ram, you also just a minute ago spoke about your history dealing with Israel-Arab relations and security within Israel. So coming with that and off of what Colonel Eisen just said, how widespread is anti-Israel belief in the Arab-Israeli community? How much are we, as the media, maybe blowing this out of proportion? Because, of course, as Miri said, again, many Arab and Muslim Israelis reject the recent violence as well.
First of all, I expect the leaders to get against those kind of young people. As Miri said, I don't say young people, I said people who are got a backup from their leaders. I didn't hear yet any leader who said to stop the violence inside Israel. If you want to be a citizen of Israel, and if you want to have the passport of Israel, you have to obey the law, both inside the villages and, of course, against Jews, because this is the only Jewish state that we have. So as long as the leaders silent, and as long as the Qadi in the mosque feed the fire, we have to be very cautious. We have to be very cautious. I call the people of Israel to be very strong. We have to protect ourselves. The police have to protect us. And there is no tolerance for people and their leaders who do not condemn the violence inside Israel. Their big mistake is that because we are in a war of outside the border in Gaza, we can't allow ourselves to be tolerate and to have arrests. It's going to be very dangerous for them, and maybe something like 2000 will go back. But I can tell you for sure that we have to keep the calm, and we have to protect our citizens, both Arabs and Jews. There is no tolerance for violence in Israel.
All right. Now, Miri, my final question, maybe final comments. If you'd like to respond to anything that Ram just said.
We are here together. And in that sense, there are different ways of how we view that togetherness. I most definitely live in this country as a strong Jewish Zionist, and I also believe that we need to understand how we can enable young generation to feel that they belong to the state in some way. I'm worried that what we're seeing means that we're not doing enough. It's always me. I want to be on the higher moral ground, but I absolutely think that right now there's a crisis of self-identity, and this is very worrisome.
All right, Colonel Reserves.
I just come from college now, and I study with Arab students. So half of them came to the college, and they feel Israelis, and they want an equal right. But half of them didn't come because maybe they think to be in other nationality or maybe to go to other country. If you want to be Israelis, you have to obey the law.
All right. Brigadier General Reserves Ram Shmueli, Colonel in Reserves Miri Eisen, thank you both so much for being with us.